Okay, so this one's a little bit different. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about the American Civil War and especially the Battle of Gettysburg, which I've long been interested in. I made the video a few days ago about the film Gettysburg, 1993, which I consider a masterpiece. I have a distant relative who died in the battle, Lieutenant Charles Edward Hazlitt, who commanded a battery on Little Round Top. He was killed on the second day of the battle. Shortly before Chamberlain took over the left flank of the Union Army. Um, and back in 1999, when I was 13, my family visited the United States. This came about from a couple an elderly couple who came to my dad's parish in Northern Ireland as tourists from Gettysburg. And, they met and they found out my father's interest in the American Civil War. He'd seen the film with his father. And with that came this trip to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. We stayed there for 1 month in 1999, and it was kind of an exchange. My father done parish work there, and the local clergyman, I don't know if he ever came to the UK, but it was sort of an exchange. But anyway, um, we spent a lot of the time touring battlefields and so on. Um, but we had one slightly creepy experience, and I remember it. And this I want to tie into the context of Ghosts of Gettysburg, because you'll find a lot of videos about that. I'll touch on those in a minute, what I think of them. But just to recount my own experience first, we actually went to Canada. We went up to Niagara Falls. It's quite a long journey from southern Pennsylvania to the Ontario border. It took a good day. My dad had rented the car. Um, that was a great trip, very memorable. Um, just looking up there at a poster I've got in Niagara Falls. Anyway, we were coming back, and it was late at night. And my father, he's a little bit of a joker. He has a sense of humor, so he likes to, sometimes keep the mood up. Or I guess we were tired. I don't really know what the context was, but late at night, we were just driving back, and I was awake. My sister and brother were asleep. My parents were awake, and my father just kind of flippantly said, "Oh, there's bound to be ghosts around you." We were coming back into Gettysburg, and through a hamlet called Cashtown. Now, anyone who knows the story of Gettysburg, the history of it, will know there's a place called the Cashtown Inn, which is very important to the battle because the Army of Northern Virginia, the Confederate forces, passed the Cashtown Inn on the way to the battlefield. And unless I'm mistaken, it was used to treat a lot of the wounded. I may be wrong about that. But anyway, he kind of flippantly said there's bound to be ghosts around here. Now, we didn't see any ghosts, but at that exact moment, just as he said it, the lights on the vehicle just flickered off. And we happened to be passing the Cashtown Inn at that point. We're pretty nearby. It just flickered off, and my dad panicked a bit. Obviously, he was on the road, he panicked a bit. Um, and within seconds, they resumed. Now, this was a little bit strange. He decided to get it checked out, to be safe because we were using the car during our time there. And mechanics, from what he recalled, couldn't find anything wrong. It was just nothing, that there was no technical faults, and we had no other problems with it. Now, it was probably just a coincidence. It was probably some technical thing, but that was a bit strange. That he would make that sort of flippant statement. We were passing the cash down in, and that happened. A little bit strange. Now, on the issue of Ghosts of Gettysburg, and this can apply actually, pretty much to any battlefield in the world, I guess. I mean, we've no shortage of battlefields around the British Isles. I've just been looking up English Civil War battlefields. Um, Gettysburg was the deadliest battle of the American Civil War. the deadliest battle in the Western Hemisphere up to that point. Casualties were 53,000. That's a staggering figure. Um, that is killed, wounded, and missing. I don't know if it includes prisoners, but it was a staggering figure, even by American Civil War standards. Um, so some of these videos that you see, like Ghost Spotted at Gettysburg, most reliable footage yet, they're treated with a lot of skepticism. People say, "Oh, it's CGI, it's fake." Um, Probably is some of it. It's a little suspicious that sometimes people fix their camera and then just 2 minutes later the ghost appears. So why would you fix it in place? That's a little bit that casts a few question marks. On the other hand, some of them I wouldn't dismiss outright. And I would make this point. When you have a place where there was so much suffering, so many men died, others had, agonizing wounds, um, is it really inconceivable that there would be some sort of energy? Is it really inconceivable that something could be kind of trapped in the atmosphere? I mean, bear in mind, it's well beyond living memory now, but it's not the Dark Ages. We're not talking ancient history. We're talking 157 years ago. Long time, but it's not ancient history. And I feel that there is definitely a point to be made that I mean, if you're told that a murder is taking place in a house, that's going to have an atmosphere. So if one murder could create an atmosphere, what's 53,000 casualties going to do? And this, like I say, is true of anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't like to, anywhere that's a great tragedy, I wouldn't like to wander around Auschwitz at night time, be grim enough at daytime. The Somme, I've been to the Somme battlefield, and that's a very somber place, literally. I don't mean that as a pun, it really is a somber place. Um, and the Somme was a complete bloodbath, 300,000 dead, thousands more wounded, prisoners of war. Um, so where there is such profound suffering, I think there's always going to be an atmosphere. Does this mean, the dead rise? Not necessarily, but I do think if there is enough of a atmosphere in a place, it could be something maybe metaphysical that can't entirely be explained, at least immediately by science. I think there's something in that. I really do. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've had any experiences. But I think battlefields in particular have a certain atmosphere. There's other things. I mean, the London Underground's one of the most haunted sites in the world because it's had a lot of tragedies. Um, and there's a fascinating documentary. I've probably quoted it before because it really is a good documentary from 2005 called Ghosts of the London Underground. Check it out. It should still be floating around online. Um, but I think that where there's been a tragedy in a place, it's bound to have an atmosphere. Um, Particularly if it's known for that. Some places resonate with a particular reputation. Not necessarily big cities because they're going to have a lot of disasters, but small places that have, we think Dunblane, right? Dunblane will forever be associated with massacre. Lockerbie is another one. Hungerford, Omagh, you know. So sometimes places resonate with a certain thing. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is forever going to be associated with the battle and Lincoln's address. I'm sure other things go on there. I'm sure they have sports teams and so on, but it will forever be associated with that, as will the Somme department in northern France. So let me know your thoughts. I'm not so much of a I'm not so superstitious that I believe that it's the dead walking among us, but I do believe that critics are a little bit flippant to just dismiss it. When there's so much suffering, I think it is possible that energy can be almost trapped. I do think there could be something metaphysical in that. Um, and maybe sometimes it's people almost willing that they see something, but I don't know. I think there might be something in it. Let me know your thoughts.